Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Cityline. We're so happy to be here with you. I'm here today in this segment as double duty. I am not only here to host the segment, but I'm also here to be a part of the segment as we get ready to talk about Tacoma Little Theatre's upcoming production of Lorca in a Green Dress. And I have some wonderful people here joining me on the couch. Maria Tanya Bandisby Weingarten, our director, is here today. Maria Tanya, welcome.
Happy to be here.
Xander Layden, who is one of the iterations of Lorca, which we'll talk more about in just a second. Xander, welcome.
Thank you.
And Allie Smith, who is also one of the iterations of Lorca. Welcome to you.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, Maria Tanya, here's the question you and I have been asked quite a bit. What made you select Lorca in a green dress as part of your season?
For me personally, it's the language. It's the poetry. It is absolutely beautiful. The other side of that is that language is a wonderful challenge for the UWT students to wrap themselves around. So it's sort of double duty, right, in terms of the language serving two different things. My own pleasure, I suppose, but also a really good exercise for the students.
And when we were talking about crafting the season, we do have a partnership with UWT, which we'll talk about in just a second. But yes, one of the things I look for in our season is always, we're going to give you the theater you want to see and the theater you didn't want to see. And we're going to make sure that you're going to enjoy it no matter what. And I think Lorca definitely falls into the one, you didn't know you wanted to see this show, but you're going to like it. But let's talk a little bit about what you alluded to, the partnership between UWT and Tacoma Little Theatre. Let's talk about that.
It's delightful, honestly. We've talked about this before, but when I got here 6 years ago now, I came to you and I said, hey, what can we do? How can we, partner? And I remember one of the things that struck me was how you discussed that Tacoma Little Theatre is a community theater, and that what better way to reach out to the community than to make that partnership with UWT that serves the community as well. So it's a beautiful partnership.
And it's one of my favorite times of the year when we do it, and we will continue through next year. We can't tell you what yet, but
no, not yet. It's a surprise.
But I want to turn over to Xander and Allie and Marie Tanya joining as well. What is Lorca about?
Yeah.
The million-dollar question.
Yes.
Yeah. The way I've been describing it to people is we're trying to convince a gentleman that he has passed away. And it's about death and it's about grief.
Xander?
Yeah. I'm speaking from just my perspective. It's a story of someone grappling with their death, and to process that, you have to process your whole life, and like what a thing to have to go through in the span of an hour and a half.
And I know when I've discussed it with people, when you say the word Lorca, some of their eyes light up because like, oh, Federico Garcia Lorca.
Yes.
And they suddenly understand that this play is about something. And those who know Lorca's work understand that it is very beautiful poetry, and that it is a true story. We actually learn a lot about Lorca's life throughout the course of the play as we go through. Xander, what drew you to audition for this show? Because I remember when we announced this, and you're like, you're doing Lorca.
Yeah. My incredible fiance, Katie Burt, is a big fan of Nilo Cruz and Lorca, and she introduced me to Cruz's plays some years back, and ever since I've just been itching for an opportunity to do something by this playwright. So when this came around, I've always wanted to do something at TLT. Mwah. Yeah.
Allie, what about you? What made you say, yeah, I want to do this show?
Yeah, working with Dr. B has been one of the greatest privileges of my college career. She is, the works that she picks out is something that really aligns with what I enjoy in theater. It's the macabre, the dark side of it, and I'm just so grateful. She's also just wonderful to work with and picks really good people to work with as well. So I'm just really grateful.
For all three of you, what were the audition and rehearsal processes like?
Dr. B has kind of mastered this balance between creative freedom while still remaining centered in our work and giving direction. And it's really wonderful to have both the creative freedom and to be reined in when needed. So that's what the rehearsal process has been like for me.
Yeah, I've been feeling a wonderful amount of space throughout, but every time I I receive a piece of direction, it's just like this lovely little gift that just imbues more life to a thing. But I've still, you know, yeah, it's been very, very fulfilling, very, very well balanced.
It's collaboration, right? It's a give and take, and it's beautiful to see this cast kind of find their way, right, within this language, and still make it about connection and humanity. And something that we haven't talked about, right, is that the Nilo Cruz uses Lorca's poetry as part of the dialogue, so you can kind of get lost in it, and because it's beautiful, and you just kind of get sucked in. But the cast has done a beautiful job of keeping the humanity in it, and not just the poetry.
Having been in the room seeing some of it, it is a beautiful piece to see come to life. Can Allie and Xander give us a quick glimpse of your characters? Just a quick little glimpse.
What's going on in this room here that you've trapped me in? This is some sort of trick by Salvador Dali. I see what's going on. How do I get out of this studio though? Get me out.
I've had the privilege of, I'm one of the only women in the cast, and I play Lorca as a woman, and it's the question that has been circling my mind throughout this process has been, what does it mean to play the feminine side of a man? And what does that look like? And how do I honor both his identity as a man while still honoring like a secret side of him that he may not have felt he could reveal to the world? So that's been a great honor to be able to consider that question.
Wonderful. It's been a great show to come together and watch it come together. Our wonderful choreographer for our flamenco dancing, Maricela Fleitas Lear, has just been wonderful. And the whole team. So we hope that you will come see the show playing March 7th through March 23rd. Mm-hmm. It's coming up fast. It's also the chance that you get to find out what we're doing next season for our 107th season that starts in September. But before that, we also have some other shows coming up. We have Bug, which will be opening in April. And that is a disturbing thriller, and that one we put a content warning on of recommended for ages 16 and above. And there's some definite things in there you'll want to read the warnings on for before you come to that show. It's definitely not for the little ones. And then we have closing out our season, one of those shows that people say, they made that into a stage show? And it's Rocky, the story of Rocky Balboa, put together by Sylvester Stallone, wrote the script, along with Thomas Meehan, and then Aaron Flaherty wrote the music, who wrote such shows as Susie Cole, Ragtime, and Once on the Silence. So it's a great score, and we can't wait to see that happen. Auditions are happening for that coming up next week. Thank you both. So thank you all three of you for being here today. It's been a joy to have you here on the couch, especially it's comfortable for me because I know you already, so it makes it very easy for the conversation. We have coming up in our next segment, the Toy Rescue, and we can't wait to see what Martha has to tell us all about Ready to Sport for Easter. So we will see you back shortly. Thank you.